The Carolina Pro Football Report, presented by National PAL. Support National PAL at nationalpal.org. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bank of America Stadium. It's week 2 of the 2021 season for the Carolina Panthers, hosting a team that has been a proverbial thorn in the schedule for quite a long time. The NFC South division-leading New Orleans Saints. I'm Kevin Tolbert, along with ADSN analyst and former Carolina Panther, Colin Cole. Another great day for Panthers football, Colin.
Another gorgeous day today, Kevin. I mean, we are blessed with an even better day than last week. The wind is blowing right here at Bank of America Stadium. I'm excited for what this day has to hold for us.
Well, Sam Darnold made his debut last week officially as a Panther. Now it's week 2. He's facing some stiffer competition. The last time that these two teams met, it didn't go in favor of the Panthers.
Didn't go in favor of the Panthers, and it was very convincing in terms of what those victories were for the Saints. So today's game is going to be a big measuring stick for where this program is and where they're trying to head to, especially against the division-winning division champs of last season.
So in 53 matchups that these two teams have played, New Orleans has the edge. And at home, they have the edge on the Panthers as well.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really make a difference as to where they've played. I mean, they've been a very good road-traveling team as well as at home. So this is going to be a talented team coming in. They've had the Panthers card for the last couple matchups, so it's going to be interesting to see how they come out today.
Well, one weapon we're sure that the Panthers will use today is the ever-dependable Christian McCaffrey. Had a great game last week, but Demario Davis is sure to have his eyes keyed on Christian McCaffrey.
Absolutely. The Saints have a very good linebacking core led by said Demario Davis, who can definitely add to the blitzing packages, and he gets after it in the passing game. I already talked about Cam Jordan and being a Pro Bowler, a guy that they expect to do huge things for them off the edge. What Demario Davis does is everything in between the tackles from first to third down. He's on the field, and he's able to make plays everywhere on the field.
And once again, Christian McCaffrey is knocking on the door of history. He wasn't quite able to set that mark last week, but here's another opportunity.
Here's another opportunity, Kevin. The thing about it for him is that the Panthers roster is full of so much talent with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, the young Marshall coming up, number 88. There's so many weapons that Darnold can get the ball to. So he's going to open up the opportunities for Christian to get the passing opportunities, as well as, when they get the run game going, obviously going to get his touches. So I presume this opportunity is going to come very soon. It should be today, honestly. I mean, the matchup, regardless of who you put on him in the passing game, he's a matchup nightmare. So I'm expecting to see him have his touches, obviously. He's going to have a great game, and I'm expecting to see Sam Darnold have the opportunity to spread it around to all those targets, kind of giving him the opportunity to have those one-on-one matchups today.
Well, Colin, a lot of people thought they should have gone to the receiving core a lot earlier in the game, especially when you have weapons like Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, especially with what Robbie Anderson was able to do deep against the Jets. Mm-hmm. Is that part of the plan, or how much of that is determined by what the Saints will give them?
Well, my thoughts are that you game plan every team and you come out with a first set of plays that you've worked on all week that you feel most confident will work against this defense. Then you go from there. You take what the defense gives you. Obviously, there are a number of receivers that can make plays. You talked about DJ. You talked about Robbie. Torrance Marshall is making plays. He made 3 catches last week. Big body guy that can definitely make those plays across the middle. So I think you game plan early where you put a certain set of plays together. You want to see how the defense reacts to them, and then going from there, as offensive coordinator, you kind of decide with your guys what looks good, what kind of looks they've been giving you, and you kind of decide from there where you go with your game plan.
And the other area of concern for this team has to be the red zone today. They brought in Dan Arnold to beef up what they had at tight end to give them options. He's got a wide catch radius. He's the kind of big body guy that they need for red zone play. But they didn't use him very much last week.
Well, last week they didn't have to. Sam Darnold got it done on his own with his legs. So this week they got that matchup nightmare. He has that wingspan like you talk about. I expect to see him get the opportunity. Well, if they get the opportunity, I expect them to give him the opportunity to see what he can do with that opportunity. So it's going to be exciting to see in the red zone if he can get one of these fade balls or one of these back of the end zone balls and make something happen.
They also brought in a kicker this week, Zane Gonzalez. Let's hear from Zane.
It was a fun experience. All the coaches and everything and all the players here are awesome. Felt like I hit the ball really well that week and felt like there's a possibility I could end up back here. Was wishing a little sooner, but eventually made it here, so I'm just happy to be here. So yesterday morning, woke up. It was an off day for the line, so just woke up, thought it was going to be a regular day, got a call, got claimed here, so just had to pack up, hop on a flight, and then landed last night. So pretty quick turnaround.
So let's switch to the defense, the Panthers Secondary. What's your report card on the Panthers Secondary, and what do you think about them facing the Saints today?
Well, last week they did a pretty good job. J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, those guys kept guys in front of them, didn't allow the big plays. I expect to see this week. I mean, considering what the Saints were able to do up there in Green Bay and Jameis Winston off of that 5-touchdown performance, they're going to do everything they can to keep everything in front of them yet again and match up with those receivers. And it's going to come down to what the nickel backs and what they're able to do to kind of take away those secondary receivers because, historically in this offense, they like to take advantage of those slot receivers and kind of get them on option routes and kind of, give them kind of matchup nightmare options in terms of putting those guys on, say, linebackers or something of that nature. So it's going to be difficult, obviously, in terms of what this entire secondary performance will be today. And, Sean Payton is a mastermind of creating mismatch nightmares. So we're going to see how this pans out.
And the D-line, they're a spectacular group. They added Hassan Reddick this year, and they performed well. They seem to be meshing together like a dream come true.
Well, 6 sacks last week, tremendous performance. And honestly, when you talk about defense, it's all about playing complementary football. The secondary complements the front complements the secondary. If the secondary can hold up, just a snippet amount of time enough, that defensive rush can get to that quarterback and really cause havoc and, just do what they were able to do last week against the Jets. So hopefully they can obviously do what they were able to do last week in terms of the secondary, hold up just enough for this defensive front because they've proven with that 6-sack performance that they can obviously get after offensive lines and get after offenses.
Well, a key component in the defensive line for the Carolina Panthers is a man named Derrick Brown. And when I say man, he is a big man. And you know this guy.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to work with this young man last year, and he's a tremendously sizable young man, quite a large young man. But, to see the maturation from year 1 to year 2 has been tremendous, especially looking in that first game. So I'm excited to see how he continues to mature. But got a chance to talk to him a couple of days ago. Check this out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, I'm out here at Bank of America Stadium, aka the Panthers Den. Got the opportunity to hang out with one of these young guys today, second-year defensive monster, Derrick Brown. Talk to us about the Week 1 victory. You guys came out with 6 sacks, kind of stepped out of obscurity, and how that manifested itself on the field this past weekend.
When we got to go into camp, it was about, building a foundation for how we're going to be able to play this year. And it was big for us to be able to go to camp and, actually be able to get this chemistry together this year, you know what I'm saying? Instead of everybody going home at the end of the day, staying, getting that extra, figure out how we're going to gel together, especially for us as a defensive line, it was big for us. So, now even the dedication the guys showing, man, we staying after doing all this extra stuff because, we want to see a difference from last year.
First things first, let me break the news. I don't really even got a name to prove. Afraid of who? Fear ain't part of my composure. And this right here is for the culture.
Coach Rule talked about defense being all about trust and accountability. Talk to us about how Shaq and JC hold you accountable as a defensive lineman.
He'll tell you, me and Shaq, we bump heads sometimes, but it's all love. But, he a leader of the defense, so, when we talk, we listen. So, when we get to sit down, if I get reached, he'll tell me immediately. Him and JC both, they'll let me know immediately. When we talking about leaders, I try to step up and be one. I know Daquan Jones, he's our oldest guy in the room right now. He's our vet. Morgan Fox, Brian Burns, we call him a linebacker now. He like to go with the linebackers and they talk coverage, but those guys, they, when they speak, you listen. So when it comes time for us to be able to have each other's back, that's what we're doing.
Careful not to get too close, I might just go.
Derek, tell me a little bit about what your biggest growth has been in your game from year 1 to year 2.
My biggest thing in year 2 was learning how to watch tape. Like my first year, I was trying to learn the playbook, so I couldn't really take everything I was learning to meet into the field. But now, being able to know my plays, being able to study at night times is becoming second nature. So that now when I'm watching tape, Frank be like, okay, you need to do this. I'll be like, all right, then I can just go out and do it. Yeah, that's my biggest thing about going into my second year, was being able to enhance my week with more football as much as I could. And, still being a dad at the same time, being a fiance, doing all those things in order to, be successful on and off the field.
What would be the thing that most people would be surprised to learn about you?
Most surprised to learn about me. I'm a country boy at heart. I'm born and raised in Mississippi. I grew up in Georgia, but I still got that Mississippi root in me. So I like to get out there in the mud, man.
If you weren't an NFL defensive lineman, what would you be doing?
I'd probably turn towards law enforcement. I'd probably go try to be an FBI agent.
Your Auburn Tigers are 2-0. Talk to me about what you think they're going to do this year.
I'm going to say it like this. We're taking one week at a time. This weekend we're going up to, some valley up there. Valley? Yeah, something like that. Okay. I just heard they having a white out, but we're going to see. You know what I'm saying? I got my Tigers all the way. Okay. All the way. Never doubting, never, ever. They might even take care of them Hawkeyes since we talking. Don't be surprised you sneak around and you see the boys in the Dome in December.
Well, Colin, one of the things that you have to have on your side in this league is being healthy. And Derek Brown is definitely doing that. He's doing a great job of that. Played in every game.
Derek Brown contributed in every single game, started all but 1 game last season, and tremendous contributor to the defensive line. Like I mentioned earlier, the maturation from year 1 to year 2, I expect to see him continue to grow. And just like you talked about in that piece, man, those guys are going to continue to hold him accountable. So it's going to be exciting to see how this continues to grow.
Well, this New Orleans Saints group is in town, and they are looking to work some magic on the Carolina Panthers. Sean Payton has this group operating in magical proportions.
You know what? Seems like they haven't even skipped a beat here. Drew Brees is retired, but Jameis Winston stepped in against a very good Green Bay Packers defense. Obviously, they were in the NFC Championship last season, and they dismantled them. Jameis Winston had 5 passing touchdowns, so it's going to be interesting to see how matching up with Phil Snow's defensive secondary, if he's able to continue that same success, or or we'll see, if that was just a fly-by-night game.
So, given all the weapons they have, Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, just to name a couple, who is the number 1 target that the Panthers have to stop today in order to get that W?
Well, we know that Alvin Kamara is going to be the number 1 guy. His receiving ability by itself, puts him in an elite category. He's always the outlet. The quarterback always knows where he is on the field. So it's going to be key to obviously take him away. But then you get into their roster a little bit. They have some guys on their receiving core that are pretty good. They haven't lost a whole lot. And Marcus Callaway, he's a guy that comes in and plays a lot. Deontay Harris, obviously the other starting receiver. So those guys are key contributors, and I expect for Jameis to spread it around this week.
Well, we can't get out of here, Colin, until you give us your keys to the game for a Carolina Panthers win today.
Well, my keys to the game today, Kevin, start with 1, you have to be able to establish a run. You have to be able to establish 22. You got to see where you are, again, against a top-notch defense. You got to see where you are in terms of, how do you match up against, again, the champions from the division last year. I would like to see them go ahead and challenge them up front, go ahead and get that run established, get both 22 running, get Chuba Hubbard running, see those guys, try to see those guys pick up and establish a new line of scrimmage. That's going to be key moving forward. Obviously we're early in the season, but down the stretch, the running game is going to be something that you always want to lean on. So I want to see that get established. Number 2, going to be a huge game for a guy by the name of Shaq Thompson, because he's got to have his eyes keyed on to number 41 on the other side, and that's Alvin Kamara. So I'm expecting to see these linebackers really key on him and try to take away him both in the pass and the run game. So that's going to be the number 2 key. Third and most important is getting after their quarterback. Jameis Winston has historically been a guy who can get rattled and a guy who gets happy feet in that pocket. So if we can reestablish what we started last week with that pass rush and get after Jameis early, I think they can definitely get the win today.
Well, that about wraps it up for today's Pro Football Report on ADSN from Bank of America Stadium, where the Panthers are set to take on the New Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock today. I'm Kevin Tolbert along with Colin Cole. We'll see you next time.
The National Police Athletic and Activities League helps support the mission of kids, cops, and communities. nationalpal.org